I've been working on a amazing sales process where I'm basically creating a automatic proposal from a call. High arching explanation. Basically, my sales team has a call. They talk through all the opportunities. They talk about price. They talk about case studies. So all of that is captured in transcription. That transcription is then put into a form automatically. And then they go click on the form, edit any notes they want to make, and then they hit generate. Now it's going to go through this whole process of enriching the information. It's going to Google the company, it's going to Google the lead, it's going to scrape the website, it's going to then go into a knowledge base and start formatting a proposal based on what we've already told it to. So I'll make an executive summary, I'll make a PR strategy, and I'll do all these steps. And then what it does is it generates all this information and we have to figure out how to use it. So in this video, I'm actually going to, for the first time, kind of just a live walk through one of my builds and what I'm doing. I have a couple videos on the different pieces to this, and once it's all done, I'll put it all together. This one's going to be more just watching me work. So I hope that this will actually show you what I'm doing. I'm going to talk out loud. It'll probably be a little bit longer of a video. I'm sure my editor will try to remove all the boring stuff in between, but this is going to be more of a seeing as I'm doing and breaking and watching my process. So hopefully this will help you. But what we're doing is basically we had a Go high level form with a webhook to Zapier, and it did the first part of it. And then once we got all the information, I wanted to put it into Go Prospero and send an email. But to do custom variables, I had to use make just because of the limitations in the API with Go Prospero. I had to use make. So I'm going to jump in, and in make, we've started doing this. And I have a lot of the information coming in, but what I did not do is spend time formatting yet. So I want to more or less get my email formatted first. So that needs to be in HTML. So there's a few ways I can do this. I can make a custom agent that formats to HTML, or I can just train it. So what I'm going to do is come in here and go ahead and edit, and we're going to add in a new node. And I'm not a make expert, so this is a newer tool for me, but I'm going to use OpenAI to basically tell it to reformat some information, which is going to help me have that final email, and then will also help me get it into Go Prospero correctly. So I'm just going to message an assistant. I'm going to put this over here, and I'm going to zoom out a little bit. So this is the email. This is the proposal we're sending. This assistant's now going to help me format the information. So I'm going to want to name this assistant. So let's do rename, and I'm going to do HTML format of, I think, executive summaries first. Executive summary. Okay. So it's a lot easier to name stuff as you go, just because you're going to forget. And then in here, I've already integrated it to one of our APIs. I'm just going to do GPT-4o. All right, so I'm probably going to have to create, I don't want to use an assistant. I just want to prompt it. So let's try this one. Yeah, so I just want to create, I could create a special assistant that works specifically to do this. So I don't have to reprompt it every time, but I think this is pretty simple. So I'm just going to create this. I'm going to use probably just 4o mini. This isn't a complicated, like they don't have to really think. All right, so let's test this out. So message, and then we're going to start off with the executive summary. So you'll see I already have the HTML for my email reply. So I'm going to do executive summary, and then I'm going to do something simple. All right, so I want to do, give me a simple prompt to convert text to plain HTML with line breaks, no header or footer. Make sure to provide an example of the HTML. You'll test back and forth, but I want to, yeah, so this is exactly what I want. BR is your line breaks. So you can also use an HTML online editor to test this out for how you want it to format. You don't want any headers or anything like that. So let's copy this HTML, and then we're going to paste. So that's how I want it to look. Perfect. Okay, so then I'm going to do this. And I'm going to make sure it formats nicely. So basically just using random tools here. You do not need Grammarly to do this. Just giving me a nice keypad. And then we don't want it to say HTML or anything like that. So we're going to prompt it like this. And then we'll have one section for the actual text to convert. Great. Then we're going to take this, we'll copy it. We'll throw that into make right here. And then that's our text to convert. And then that should be it. So hopefully we'll save. And then we should just be able to run this and let's grab some sample text. So we'll come here and grab, obviously it should do a good job with this because it knows, okay. And then our output looks correct. So we'll come back to our HTML online editor. Perfect. So it output the exact same thing. Obviously that's makes sense. It was a pretty easy test. So then we're going to call this, rename it executive summary to HTML. Okay. And then this doesn't auto save. So you can come here and hit that floppy save button. Now we just pretty much have to repeat this step a few times. So I'm going to come back into my final email because there's a whole bunch of stuff in here. So I'm going to start with that executive summary. And now I'm going to change this to executive summary. So it's grabbing, see, I want the output. So I want the result. So let's get rid of that and then grab the result. Perfect. And then we'll save it and then we'll save again. And then in our Go Prospero, I'm not sure if I did a video on this, but basically we're putting in custom variables into our proposal and it's going to generate a full proposal. So we'll come back here and we're going to go to executive summary. So then we're going to grab this and change the results. So we'll save it. And so the whole reason why I'm doing this right now is I actually have to create a proposal for a client that I just talked to, and I don't want to have to go through and format it. So I figured like this is a step I have to do. Might as well do that. And then I can make a video while I'm doing all of it and I'll show you guys the final proposal. So let's come back in here and see all the things we need to format. So let's come back in and basically I'm going to clone this to make it easier. I'll put it back in line and then I'm going to just make sure to go in order to make my life easier from here on out. So I'll come back in here and then obviously we don't want the executive summary. We get to use the exact same text, but we're just going to change whatever this output is. So executive summary is now going to be from our webhook. We have budget is already in HTML. So we'll do milestone next. And then we want to rename this milestones. So milestones. And I will go ahead and save it. And then rename. So I'm hoping just by watching that this will be helpful so people can learn and see what I'm doing here. This is a simpler one, and I have to repeat it a few times, but what we're going to do now is come back into our email and under milestones, we're now going to put results of that name milestone. So you see why it's important to actually name these. Save and then save again. I do save a lot as I go through these. Come back in here, pricing, milestone. Okay. So now before I kind of go to the next step, part of what I want to do here is our output for our email. So our output for our email is going to look like this. It's going to have the proposal link. It's going to have the client's information, their email, so we can easily reply to them. But then it's going to draft an email reply. One of the things that I didn't do is take that new proposal link and put into that email reply. So I'm going to want to put a new assistant in here. So we'll come back into chat and we'll just create a conversation. We're going to put it right in here. We're going to do something similar, but we're going to feed it this information. So maybe 4.0 Turbo, which is the newer model. Sometimes I will just ChatGPT what the best one is for, so let's just actually do it. I know Turbo is one of the better ones. It's slower and costs more, so I don't use it too often, but for copy and things like that, I might use it. So what's the best model for editing and drafting a follow-up sales email? And if you guys notice bad spelling, I am severely dyslexic. I have a really cool video on how to use AI tools to take advantage of my dyslexia. And so it's saying 4.0 Turbo, which Turbo, don't see specifically Turbo. So the 2024-09, so this one right here. Avoid preview. So let's see. What is the exact name from the list? So probably this one. Okay, here we go, system. So using AI to prompt AI, define to AI. So this one's a more advanced model and it'll just help me with copy. So I'm going to add my message in here. I'm going to use user and I'm going to do from our to context here. We're going to grab the email, not that email. Let's see. Here we go. Email response. And we want the proposal link, publish link. Okay. And then I'm going to put this into, why does that keep monoseri? Oops. Cool. So I like typing in other places. given the proposal link and the response email, make sure it is well formatted and professional and not overly long. It is a sales follow-up email, and then make sure to add the proposal link to the follow-up email. All right, and then fix the spelling. So I have to use the spelling thing, and I'll have it, and then I'll tell it to make this more clear, unless I like what it says. All right. Okay, so then I want to then you want to tell it how you want it to output. Output should be an email with simple HTML as it was already provided. No headers or other details. And then I'm going to tell it to clean this up for an AI prompt. Okay. No, I don't want that to be the client's response, not the client's response. That is our reply. We are just cleaning it up and adding the proposal link. All right, so I'm having a conversation with it, trying to get it as clear as possible. All right, let's have this read to me. All right, so then I can come in here and delete this and paste this. So obviously it's a little bit easier to type it out there. It looks pretty nicely formatted. So save it, and then I can run this. Let me find a sample follow-up. I just sent one. Here is a sample follow-up, and I'm going to go ahead and run this and there, and I'll just do proposal link of, in case you guys don't know, I own AutoPR, the number one PR agency on Clutch, Q2 and UpCity, Inc. 5000. If you guys need PR services, happy to help. If you need AI services, happy to help. But it's running there. Okay, and so where are our results? Long string, dope. So we'll put this into the HTML formatter. So it worked. Let's see. So it's good, but obviously we don't want these stars, which is a formatting issue, probably because it tried to make it bold. Okay, so we'll come back into here and we'll go back to our prompt and then add something like, actually I'll just have chat fix it. So here is my prompt, my output had, and you fix it so it knows not to do that. It might be a random thing where it's supposed to be bold, so the HTML should say bold. And then we'll try this again. Come back in here. We'll go ahead and delete this. Oops. And we'll paste the new one. And then we'll save it. And we'll go ahead and run this. And then again, we're going to grab the text here. So in this example, it should be taking in HTML. So let's actually put HTML in here. So to do that, I'm going to paste this here. So there's HTML. I'm going to clean that up a little bit. I'll come in and I will paste the HTML back into our reply. And then I'm going to do, okay. So this one should probably work now. So you'll see it's thinking. Because we're using the Furrow Turbo, you'll see that it is definitely taking some extra time. That's something where Turbo might not be the best fit. But let's see. This looks like it's better. And then we're going to go ahead and check it out in our HTML editor. There we go. Formatted proposal here. And that was the link we had before. So that looks a lot better. Cool. So we fixed that issue. Then what I'm going to do is come back into my email and I'm going to replace, let's name this. So add Prospero link to follow up mail. Save. Okay. And then come in here and we'll do follow up email and it's go. Oops, so we want email and we're going to do email response. Yeah. So we're going to do, should be the last one. Yep. Save. So we're getting close. I just need to format the PR strategy and the budget. Save. So we'll make sure to save this. So we're going to put into here. So we'll zoom back over here. We'll move this down. We'll add in webhook. No chat. Actually, yeah, I'm going to duplicate this. Clone. Move that in. And I think we said we need PR strategy. So this step should be pretty easy. PR strategy, save, rename, PR. Okay. And then I'm going to move this over and I'm going to clone this again, put that in. I think hopefully this is the last one we have to do. Looks like the budget was already in HTML. So let's come back in here and check. So budget was already HTML, so we don't even have to do that. So let's just try, let's get rid of this last one. Let's save. Let's replace the PR strategy and we're going to do PR strategy. We just want the results. So come in here and PR strategy and we get result. I might have to run this. Run. Okay. Then we're going to come back in here and we're going to go back and do PR strategy and we'll do PR strategy and results. Put it in the right spot. I think I want PR and then this is just simple HTML, so the email actually comes out formatted. And then, okay, so we're going to assume budget's done. So all we have to do is come back into our stuff, save as many times as possible. And then we need to put in our PR strategy here. So we should have results, PR strategy, sales email, booking link, refine, results, salesperson. Did I not do budget? Let's see. Yeah, I did budget. Okay. Budget doesn't need to be changed. So let's just see. We have 3 nodes there and I put in 1, 2, 3. Okay. Save, and we're going to make sure it's on. So run immediately. So this is running whatever data is in there. But I'm going to stop it. It should be on. So let's come back and check our scenarios. Save changes. Scenarios, it's on. So it's on. All right. So now we actually get to test this out so you guys can watch what I'm actually doing. So maybe this will make a little bit more sense. And what we're going to do here is I'm actually going to pull up the Zap too so you guys can see that. So you guys can actually walk through folders, sales. Oh, we're generating a proposal. Basically, high level, it comes in, it's getting the transcripts from the call, it's enriching it, a whole bunch of steps here on enriching it, Googling it with SERPDev, getting a company bio, all these informations, then it's going into an assistant and giving us each one of those steps that we just did. And in here, I could have it go to HTML, but I was having a little bit of issues. And this is actually running a little slow. So I will probably change the models here in the future. But then I'm going to go over to my site. So this is what the team actually uses. otterpr.com/forms. So we have a AI knowledge base and things like that we use internally. But I'm going to go to AI proposal generator. So here's where I can grab that form. And then I'm going to fill that out. So let's go back to my emails. So I'm going to go ahead and grab this person's information. This was our old system. So in the future, they'll automatically get a link like that. So I'm going to put in last word's full name, phone number, email, website, salesperson, company name, and then we use a few different tools. So I'm going to grab my Meet Geek recording. So this integrated with my Zoom and actually recorded the call. So I'm going to come in here. I will open this. I will download the transcription. Okay. Now I have the transcription of our call. And I'm going to go back into here. And then I'm going to put what I pitched them. And then I can do an advanced or basic. I do want to do a specific case study here. So our system will actually match it to a case study. But I told them I was going to send them a specific one. So case study. So I'm going to do bare bottom close. So I'm going to grab this link. I'm going to put in bare bottom close. And I'm going to put in some of the results they got. So we're kind of going a little bit deeper. This obviously doesn't have much to do with the process. We're just showing you what's possible. So I want 7 pieces of coverage. And then views. And then I'm going to give them the coverage book and see what they come up with. This doesn't have to be perfectly formatted or even spelled because the AI is going to fix all that. So now hopefully this all works. And I'm going to generate. Now the system runs a little slow because we're using heavy models. So it'll take 2 or 3 minutes to show up in my inbox, but basically I'll walk you through again what's happening here. Okay, so basically what's going to happen here is we're going to fill out the proposal form. It's going to do a webhook to Zapier. In that webhook, it's going to give us the full transcription of the call, which we uploaded, and then we're going to turn that into a Google Doc, then get the plain text from that. We'll then grab the HTML or HTTP of the company so we can actually check the web and scrape the website so we can learn more about the company. Then we'll use SearchDev, which is just an API to Google the company. If you're using things like, there's other AI tools you can use here, but this one I just like. Then you get a company overview using AI. You feed it all the information. Then you do that about the lead that you just talked to. So same concept. Then it's going to get a lead overview. Then we're going to match that to a case study. We did in this example add a case study, but we'll match it anyways. Then we're going to look it up to see who the salesperson was, and we can enrich this with their information. Then we're going to add all of that to a specific agent or brand that's trained on auto PR and their proposal templates. We're going to give it all the information. I just did this in steps so it doesn't break it. Add more information from the call, and then we're going to get the executive summary, the milestones, the PR strategy, the budget, a follow-up email, and then this step actually can be deleted, which I will go ahead and do. All right, and then all of that, because we couldn't do custom variables in Go Prospero, which is our proposal software, I basically had to send that over to Make. So then in Make, what we're doing here is we're taking a webhook, we're grabbing all those custom variables, and then we're converting things to HTML and formatting it how we want. So this is just HTML, 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 putting that all in the proposal in custom variables, and then reformatting the email with the proposal link, and then sending it as an email to me. And it had an error. Maybe because I changed it. Stop because that was... Damn it. It's literally because I changed it while we were working on it. So I will have to run that again. Silly me. Let's see if I can just run it anyways. Today's the 6th, I believe. Nope, today's the 7th. So let's see. All right, so let's go back. Let's see if I can replay this. All right, so now you can live see it. Hopefully it doesn't error out because I deleted that one step, which was very silly of me to do while it's actually working. And you can see it actually running each step. In the meantime, I'm going to start filling out this form again because I have to run it again. So we use memory keys. So I hate having to run this more than once just because it's going to remember everything. I could randomize it per run, but let's see what comes up here. All right, cool. So it just finished running. I didn't have to do it again. So you'll see that it sent the webhook. So in our situation here, it should have just run, and hopefully it might take a second, but then we'll be able to get that email. Here, no. All right, we got the email. It came into my inbox saying AI proposal. Let's check out the formatting. All right, we got the view here, schedule a follow-up call. Perfect. Executive summary. So it's still got these marked down, so we'll have to fix that. Milestone came out blank. PR strategy came out blank. We did not crush it, but we'll have to go back and problem solve, and then you can come into a proposal and take a look at what it looks like. So the executive summary looks good minus these, which we'll have to fix. But the HTML is working, so that's awesome. Clearly these didn't come through. And did our budget come through? Our budget did come through. So close. We'll have to go figure out what actually happened. So let's come back in here and go ahead and see. Yeah. So why did this not work? Oh, there we go. Wait, back. Okay, so got all the information. So that's good. The webhook's working. So what we did was we went over to history and we looked at what's going on. So it's capturing all the information. So let's see, the output was complete. So we probably just grabbed the wrong information here. So input, output, results. So we do have to fix some of the formatting. The executive summary worked. Let's see what happened here. So it says complete, but there's no result. Okay, so here you can see it worked and it sent in the information. And you can see these marked down, so we have to fix the formatting there. And then we just need, here's results. Okay, so input message. Let's look at this one. Okay, so it's working. then the bundle. Okay, so it's something to do with how this is formatted. So all I'm gonna do is copy this over and run it one more time. So I hope you guys like videos like this. You can see that there's a lot of problem solving, but really it's all formatted here correctly. So I just need to copy it and do it one more time. The goal of this was to give you guys ideas and to see how these pieces work and to see how it actually takes a long time to get it to be perfect. But hopefully this does help, as you can see that especially the email formatting, that did work. So we just need to run through and grab one more version of it because the formatting is getting really close. So we'll make some small edits and copy those over and find out why those results weren't coming up. But that's it. If you guys like videos like this, usually I do a little bit more polished version, or you need help with automations, I do have a full team to help with that. So make sure to subscribe to the video. And then I have a whole bunch of freebies, including a free article on USA Wire, a free lead list, a whole bunch of automation examples down below. So make sure to subscribe. Thank you. Until next time.